Hey, are we up? Did I already turn this on? What's up, guys? How you doing? I don't even know how I did that, man. Crazy. I guess we're starting early. Fuck that first 10 minutes, huh? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. We'll get in it. So, today has been absolutely freaking nuts. Oh, I put it on the wrong thing. Let me move it over. Again, I am ill prepared. I thought I had 10 minutes. All right, here we go. So, this chart couldn't be more different. And let me do this. There we go. This chart couldn't be more different than what we've seen for the last week. And I just want to be clear that I told you guys this was fucking coming and that we were oscillating. I actually thought it was going to take days more. I was hoping it was. For anybody who saw the members only video, I really wanted to get in on that trade with Cleanspark at least. The other ones didn't really look super great, but I wanted to get into that Cleanspark trade, and I'm just like, I'll just sit. And now we're skyrocketing higher across everything. We got a lot to go over today, ladies and gents. A Bitcoin up 826%. That is a huge increase. Solana up 8%. These charts, let me see. Jesse and James are the two goats of the investing and trading world. Thank you, man. I actually, I've learned a decent amount from him, and I'm hoping that I provide a unique perspective that he doesn't have either. He's the hardest working guy in the investment world that I know of. One of them, at least, right up at the top. So that's a huge compliment. So I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, anyway, so Solana, let's look at Solana real quick. There is so much good shit happening right now, right? I'm just blown away by how quickly things turn around. So for the day, I think I'm closing around $300,000 in gains. It's a little confusing. I probably should have set this up before, but again, I was short on time. So the MicroStrategy, in my main account, it only shows that I'm up by 153, but MicroStrategy did their split. And in case, just so you guys know, if you have MicroStrategy, the price changed, and they probably haven't rolled over all the shares and done the things the way they're supposed to. So your value could be much lower in your account, depending upon how your broker does it, than what it really actually is. So mine dropped by 90% because of a 10-to-1 split. So really, I'm up in my main account by about 255,000, and then with my shit coins and all the other accounts I have, I'm right up at 300K. And next time I'll have it shown. I don't like to show red numbers. The psychology, it's not even for my own psychology. If I do that with the people that are following me, it's like a lot of them fall apart. They see it and they just it makes them sick, and they see big numbers of red that I have, and it makes them sick, and it makes them second guess what they should be doing. And so I honestly just don't put it up on most days just to talk about the things that are going to make us go up in the future, and why they should be in the investment, and why the things that I'm invested in, I believe over, the periods of time that I defined, and most of it really over very long periods of time. I'll go out years, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 years. I mean, I've got a 10-year plan for Tesla. So again, I just don't want, human psychology is such a fucked up thing. Red makes me sick. See, your Broccoli Bob, who would have known Broccoli Bob gets sick off of red? I was going to think, I don't know. But again, it does that with a lot of people. It does that with a lot of people. They have a physical reaction to it. And it's damaging psychologically. So I try to avoid it and give a happier tone, and try and just really let people know it's going to be okay. And here's all the reasons why. I try to focus on that. And then green makes you hungry. Yeah, dude. I'm up 300K today. DLO's been on a run. I haven't even been paying attention. 7.4%. We'll have to pull that one up. So, but let's get back to it here. So we looked at the heat maps. They look bright and shiny. Let's look at the S&P, and then we'll go into stocks. It's just look at this. So crazy. Huge uptick. Literally up. Right now, it's still in the S&P. It's underneath the resistance level. But this kind of launch, and there's different moving averages that people are using to be able to kind of keep track of all this. But this kind of launch off of where we are is so powerful a move. Not that it can't go down a little bit more. Again, there's some key resistance here, right? You can see where it hit it. It's not rocket science. It is there. And there's some bearish divergence too, still on the weekly time frame that can play out. So we could still get my plan where we grind down and then I really get into those Cleanspark options for the July of 2025s that I was talking about. I think the 37 price target, I don't know, I haven't bought them yet, so we'll figure out which one I go with. But yeah, so that I might still have that opportunity. But what a powerful day! What a signal that's been sent on a day when the S&P is up 2.14%. The Nasdaq. Let's get through some more macro here, guys. We got a lot to talk about. We're back above the .618. I need to move this over, but we're back above that on the daily time frame. That's great, right? I should say every time frame. That doesn't really matter. But I love that we're above it. If we close that today at like 7 p.m., I think we're at right now this time of year. That's for crypto. You got to think about crypto differently. But yeah, we're going to be closing here in like 4 minutes on this, and this is great. And if we end the week above the .618 fib, this is such a superior bounce off of the 200 weekly daily moving average on the Nasdaq. It's such a nice bounce and clean move. A lot better than what we saw over here when we saw upward momentum off of the 200 moving average. This was better technically because it didn't dip through it, but from a velocity standpoint, this is comparable. So again, it just looks very powerful, and the Nasdaq is up 2.77, a little more than the S&P. The Russell, our small caps, 2.18. Nice. It did a pretty good job keeping up. And again, we're not done. We still got 3 minutes. But it's doing a pretty good job keeping up with these other indices, which is nice to see. It makes me think that we're going to bounce again and just keep going up. Let me see here. Thomas Mason. Hi, everyone. I still have 6 minutes to decide whether I go for leverage buy on CLSK. How much did it go up? I didn't buy the contracts. So if the contracts are up 20, 30%, dude, I would not personally do that. You know what I mean? Like, I would wait. Plus the earnings call, I don't know. I don't know that they're going to blow it out of the park. They're going to be at where they were in June. Let me just pull this up real quick. They're going to be at, Cleanspark's going to be at where it is in June. And again, we are doing the earnings call for Cleanspark, just so you guys know. So in about 32 and a half minutes, we'll be jumping into that call. I do have it pulled up on a different screen. So we should have some fun with that. I don't see that data. The data should be coming out in the next couple of minutes. We should start seeing this price drop. Oh, you know what I should do too? I'm actually going to, let me do this. I'm going to move Cleanspark to my other screen. That way we can watch it. Again, I didn't get my setup time, so give me 1 second here, guys, because it just launched. So I will put the stock up. Just got to move a few things, click on a couple of buttons, hit another button. Okay, cool. And we can see that Cleanspark is up almost 10% on the day. Nice move. And we're going to monitor this in after hours to see how that earnings goes. It looks, honestly, this looks pretty bullish to me. It looks like it could definitely, turn into like, I don't know, a W bottom or whatever. Like it looks good. It looks good from a technical pattern. All of them, there's different words for them, but I mean, essentially they're the same thing. And I love this wick. Look at that wick. Not even including that wick. So beautiful. So we're going to keep this open. We're going to keep it on the 4 hour. Maybe I'll drop to the 1. Just so we can compare how the day did, where you can see it just grinded higher, looking very powerful all day. And we'll see if it ends up dropping lower. I'm going to try and... Oh, no, I got the wrong one pulled up. Oh, let me fix it. Sorry, guys. Hopefully my internet connection doesn't have issues. I've been trying different things to see if I can fix it. It's just like such a... Oh, here we go. I think I fixed it. Oh, no, I did have it. I'm looking at 2 different screens. Oh, my God. So stupid. Moving on. All right, let's go to the dollar. So again, all the indices looking great, but there's some resistance on the S&P, and the other two look like they found beautiful support. The dollar, what did the dollar do today? What did the dollar do? The dollar's flat. It's boring. It's just trading along. I do think we can kind of get a lift off here in the future. We'll see, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Let me look at chat real quick too and catch up. So Albert said, hey Jesse, so if the Cleanspark Q2 is great, it would mean that in Q3 they could have 4th positive quarter in a row. If Cleanspark goes to the S&P and mid cap, it would change the whole narrative for miner. Oh, dude, there's so many positive things that can happen with Cleanspark. You got to remember this miner is the second highest hash rate publicly traded and really miner in the world. And that's an amazing thing to be in a great place. And they were so much smaller in 2019, 20, whenever they spun up. They've done so much in a short period of time. I will be pulling up more data on them too. So once we get the earnings, we'll be refreshing and we'll be looking at visual stocks. We'll also be looking at what they pull out first while that's getting ready to refresh. And then I might even pull up Sebastian Ski's documentation on the different miners and look at Cleanspark specifically so that you can see just a few charts, additional charts that he has on there too. I think Alejandro and Visual Stocks has most of it now though, so we'll see what we can derive from it. But he does have additional data points. He's got a lot of stuff in there. So, but I'm very, very excited to see what's coming up here. Very, very excited. Let's look. So anyway, let's go to the dollar. So again, maybe we might grind over here, but I do think we're going to try and pull up before maybe breaking down again. That's my thought on the dollar. And real quickly, let's look at the yen. That's the Japanese carry trade that everybody forgot about. So the dollar did gain strength against the yen, but it still isn't crazy. We could see a little bit more of that, but right now I think that's out of the headlines. It could come back. I think it was JP Morgan said that they think we're 72% or 75% through the unwinding of the Japanese yen carry trade. So if that's true, then really there isn't a lot to worry about because another 25% isn't going to kill us. So hopefully it's true. China actually gained a little bit of strength against the dollar. I don't know. I guess that's a little surprising, but I mean, over a shorter period of time, it can do anything. Let's go to the MOVE index. Look at volatility for bonds. Nice drop in volatility. I could see a test back to at least like 107 here soon, if not down sub 100. That's great. It just means, again, that the bond market's kind of stabilizing. We want to see that. It would be nice. What I would love to see here is a grinding down pattern, maybe going into October, November, December, while stocks are outperforming. And then maybe we get another risk off where we're really overbought and then we start to roll over again. And this thing starts to spike and you see TMF go up again. And I'm planning on applying more capital to that from some of the dip or from some of the profits that I make. You can see the 2 years getting a little bit, again, it's got a little bit of the pain back. It's starting to bounce up. Heck, I don't think we make it all the way up here, but maybe we make it to like 4.19 or maybe in the mid fours, possibly. And then we start to roll over again. That's where my money's at. The inversion. 10-year inversion. We have not inverted or uninverted yet. I told you that we were probably going to start to trend back down, and I think we could break down again and test like this range. So as long as we haven't uninverted, the clock has not started for recession as another indicator, and we like that. That's not bad. The put-call ratio is going up. People are getting those puts. I get really excited when we've had very, 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 very oversold conditions, the kind of oversold conditions where you've only seen it 2 other times in the last 35 years when you're looking at the VIX. I like that, and I like to see that people are trying to hedge their bets really hard because you got the doomers, man. The doomers were so fucking excited. They had the Japanese yen carry trade unwinding. They were so happy. They were like posting like crazy that day. It was just like they were basking in the sun for the first time in years, and it all is getting taken away from them. But they still think they're going to win, and they're not, and that's going to fucking suck for them. But buy all those puts, guys. You're rocket fuel for our upside price action. So I appreciate your donation to my account. Let's look at Bitcoin. I don't mind when people donate funds to me, especially if they have opposing views that I don't think are better for the world. It's fun to take those people's money. That's my view of it. All right. Let's see the Bitcoins. What a beautiful move. We got some resistance above us. Again, we haven't even hit the 200. But this is a strong power move here. And if we zoom out, that's where it gets even more fun. So let's just do this. Let's clean her up. So this is looking at the weekly, right? So this is how the week could end. So if we have another good day tomorrow, can you imagine what it looks like if we stop like here at like 65.7 or anything? Like if we did any of that tomorrow for a weekly, well, that's not the weekly close. I mean, it's just the end of the week close. But still, for other things that are tied with existing indices, that would look bullish AF. So I'm just saying, and if we do by the end of this week, if we're above all of this previous trading range, and we're sitting up here after testing down so violently and then bouncing so hard, we are going to be super bullish. Let me see here real quick. I got to see if we got data out. Cleanspark is up barely, but I'm starting to see it kind of gyrate around. So I want to see if they actually published any data. So give me a second here, and while we're doing that, maybe we'll pull them up. Sometimes people are really quick. I might just take a look on, fuck it, I'm just going to use X. Everybody's so quick on X. It's like, why even bother? I used to like type out the stuff and be like, oh, I better post this thing so people see how great the earnings are, but they do so well on X. And oh, maybe they're not getting the actual data points out yet. That's possible. I don't see anything yet. I did want to point this out though while I'm here. Alejandro, the guy who created visualstocks.com, and my buddy, he showed what the earnings projections are for Cleanspark. So if they do better than this with revenue, if they're above 110, 112, that would look sick. And here's something I want you to pay attention to. So we want to see at the end of the quarter, where was Bitcoin? That's what matters, right? That's what, if you think about it, that's what really matters. So let's see where we were at the end of the quarter, the end of June. Let's see. So we were, oh, I hate it when there's stuff like this in the way. I'm just going to kill it. I don't care. Get off my screen. All right. So we were right around here. Right around here. So right here, 62,000 was what Bitcoin was at when the quarter ended. So that's not horrible. So if they do a good job continuing with growth and their hash rate is, I mean, second to one, Mara, then I think they can just really crush it. Like I've said it many times before, these guys were the underdogs. They were so small. They believed that they should use like clean, renewable type energy so that they didn't have to worry about liabilities and issues with governments. And then they just grew. And then they sold Bitcoin near the peaks. They were conservative with that. I do wish they'd buy at the bottom, like I've said numerous times, but they did use that capital to spin up tons of mining equipment and become one of the greatest miners on Earth. So I'm very impressed by these guys. I think they manage really well, and I'm excited for the conference call today. Let me see. Oh, did we get actual details? Let me see. Nope, it's still just the call. I don't see anything yet. So I'll check real quickly over here. Otherwise, we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. But yeah, I'm super stoked about Cleanspark. Let's just look at it too. No, I already looked at it on there. We'll skip it. We can look at other stuff in a sec. I want to go and look at other things. We're going to look at U.S. economic data before we get too deep into the weeds. So, and then I'll start looking at chat too. Give me a second. So U.S. economy, not going to get political in this one. Lots of fun stuff going on though. So much good stuff. All right. So again, today, just look at this. Green everywhere. Like Peggy's 100% right. Oh, I don't know why I put this here. The powers that be. Nope. Definitely bookmark wrong. Not U.S. economy. Jeff Lutz, he said, by the way, how stupid does the UAW leadership, so this is the universe, or the whatever, auto workers, this is the head of their organization, and it says, how bad does he look endorsing the current administration for the upcoming election while the industry they represent slips into a recession under their watch? Yeah, I know. It's somebody else's fault. Zero accountability. And I do think that's amazing. And he had another post, too, where he said, showed supply impacts continue to be seen all over. You know this if you've been following me. I've been talking about this for ages, that the used car market is getting really, really bad. And we're getting way too much new car supply, too, in the markets. And so this says 100 days, July ended with 100 days of U.S. new vehicle inventory, all types. It's the highest in 5 years and nearly double from a year ago. Tesla ended Q2 at 18 days of global supply. This is an insanely different number. So I want you to remember the worst of the worst pain. The worst of the worst pain. Oh, we got it. We got data. Real quickly, this thought for the auto sector is not Tesla. It's everybody else, dude. It's everybody else. They've got 18% of the inventory time frame of the rest. All right, let's look. Cleanspark, NASDAQ today announced what? Fuck. I hate to see that. What happened to the price? Nothing? Nothing happened to the price. We're just sitting here. Mother fudger. What the effing A? Let me just check something real quick. What? I don't like that. I don't like that shit. But whatever. If it goes down, I'm cool with that. That'll give me my opportunity, guys. Let me see. I'm just trying to pull up the webcast on another screen just to make sure. It still looks like it's running, so I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep it up, just to see. Yeah, just to see. Let me check real quickly, though. I'm going to go back. We can look at this in a second. I want to see what's going on, because this was kind of going to be half of this today. So let me see if we understand. Might have to do the word, Cleanspark. Yep, I'll do that. Let's go to the horse's mouth. I'm sorry, who announced that? Did that come across a Bloomberg terminal, or how'd you get that? Website shows results? Okay, let me take a look. Is that full year though, or is that the for the quarter? I mean, there's KPIs that they always show, right? Like we got KPIs for July, and then they had full year stuff a while ago, but we're looking for Q3 of 2024. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird, but that's how they do it. So that's what we're looking for. And I don't see anything yet unless I'm in the wrong place. Unless I'm not looking at the webcast. Let me go back one. I mean, that's the investor relation page. Let me go back. Latest presentation. Cleanspark postpones. Oh, yeah, no, I see it. Okay, now I see it. Okay, thank you. I got you now. Okay, Cleanspark. Oh, that's literally it. Okay. All right, we'll figure out when that is next. So we're done with the Cleanspark part. Let's move on. Let's look at the other stuffs. All right, so we're going back to U.S. economic data. TOS news feed, Q2. Some people bought PayPal last year and no gains plus calls got crushed. Yeah, if you bought PayPal last year, boy, you were a sucker. I mean, I was too. And I was telling people it was a great buy. So that didn't work out. So I do apologize to anybody that thought I was smart enough to be able to time that one. But I did not. I did bad on PayPal. I did bad on SoFi. Well, actually, SoFi, I made a lot of that back. So I did pretty good on that one. Better, I should say. Hood, I did really great. Matterport, I did really great. A bunch of others, like Tesla. Again, I made over $340,000 that I booked here recently. So there's a few that have done really well. But, I mean, crypto's gotten beat up. A lot of these things got beat up really good, all at the same time. Wait, what the fuck? So no earnings? I don't think so. Damn, why did they do this? Damn it, I don't know. They should have been prepared. Could be a bad sign. I'm just going to hodl. I trust them. So I'm going to hodl. And if they don't, then I get my options play. So to me, it's like a win-win right now, guys. Sealess, a damn squib. Nothing to see here with Cleanspark. Are they stashing? Can they afford to hodl? Thomas Mason, what could be a reason to postpone so late? Is an accounting error of some kind? That would. It's going down. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't buy today. This is our opportunity, guys. Yes. Yeah, they postponed results. So over the short term, like today, gonna get crushed. I don't know when they're gonna redo it. I haven't seen. So when I get that information, I'll send it to you. We're down 4%. We're down 4% in after hours. So I guess that kind of sucks over the short term, but I'm personally probably stoked because I'm still going to buy into this company until proven otherwise. I've owned this stock for like 4 years now, I want to say. Maybe more. Could be more. And I've done really well off of it every single time. Whenever they really became a company. So, all right. So anyway, let me get back. U.S. economy. We'll go back over this stuff in a second. I know people get confused by this. Could it be a bad thing? Maybe. But my experience with the company for 4 years is that they're fucking amazing, and I'm not worried about it. U.S. economy. We're going back to that. That's annoying. I'm actually stoked about it. Drop, baby. Drop. Yeah, exactly. I'm with Needs 55. That's where I'm at. That's totally fucking where I'm at. I'm like, dude, I want my stock to drop. I was pissed earlier that I wasn't able to buy options. Now I just got a message that I'm going to have the opportunity to. Fuck. I hope it goes to like 10 or less. Go to 7. I would be so happy. If we get 7, let me just look at the price again. I mean, I doubt it'll happen, but I would love it. So we're right here. Could we trade down to like 11? Maybe. Could we drop down further? I don't know. It's so hard. We already dropped 62% from the high, and this is the second best mining company in the industry. So unless we're looking at blatant fraud, which I don't expect remotely, I do diversify between a bunch of different miners just in case something weird happens, but I don't expect anything like that remotely. This thing, any dip, I'm going to buy tomorrow. I am totally going to fucking buy it. Just do me a favor, guys. Hold off and don't do it so I can do it. That's all I ask. I'm kidding. You can do it. But, like, whatever. All right. Anyway, back to the U.S. economy stuff. I want to get on track. Too easily distracted today. So we talked about Tesla. We talked about the UAW. We talked about the fact that Tesla has 18 days of inventory versus the average of 100 right now. Fuck, it's starting to go back up again. Hopefully not. We talked about all this stuff and how inventory, again, is just climbing and climbing and climbing. I wanted to show you guys something else here, okay? This shows the change in GDP for Venezuela after they became a socialist country. Can you see where it happened? Can you see where they became a socialist country? Can you see it? Isn't that sad? Isn't it sad that this country went, because they adopted socialism and they didn't vote for somebody like Trump, they ended up fucking themselves for the last 27 years. They went from the second largest buyer of F-150 Ford pickups in the world and being really rich to being the poorest, country in South America. So I don't know, man. Like, Argentina just fixed this problem. I don't know why anybody would want to create this in our own civilization. Without getting too more political, this is just math. If you don't like my political views, I respect it. Okay, I get it. I get that everybody sees the world through a different lens. I just encourage you to look at it through the financial one, because if you don't understand this and you put your other biases before it, and you think that it's not important to have freedom of speech and that it's not important to have a society that's based upon meritocracy, then we're fucked. So then it doesn't matter what your politics are. Population collapse is accelerating. Again, just some good data here showing that the population collapse in the West is huge, including Japan, China, Croatia, like Singapore, South. So like basically all of Asia and Europe and in the West are collapsing. And Latin America and Africa and India are going to start to rise. But this isn't something to get too excited about, because we're so indebted. The first and second largest countries on GDP per capita, whatever, if you look at all the data, are super indebted, with China being 2.5x roughly ours right now, and us being fairly indebted. And you got to remember that, I don't want to get too political, but I just want to say this point, okay? The inflation and the craziness we saw that created this distortion between the rich and the poor and made it worse. I shouldn't say made it worse than it already was, which it's getting worse all the time because of money printing. That Kamala Harris didn't want Joe Biden to spend $1 trillion. She wanted him to spend $4 trillion. So, again, if you don't know anything about economics, learn for the sake of our fucking country, please. Jobless claims data was super boring, about where it was a year ago. The market likes this. And there's this massive distortion, right, from the pandemic. But really, is it much different than before the pandemic? It's not. So jobless claims don't look bad. Again, so who can claim unemployment? Do you know who that is? Legal citizens. Okay. So sure, we're seeing an unemployment rate go up. But I would argue that, like the person who created the SAM rule, Olivia, whatever, I don't remember her name, but she's great. She was talking about how all the illegal immigrants coming over the border, they're taking people's jobs. And if you live in like a big city like New York or in places in California, you could probably see some of this happening, where at the lower end of the income curve, among the poorest of people, probably a lot of minorities too, honestly, you're seeing these people come in. They'll work for cheaper. They'll work harder, because they're desperate and they just want, most of them, to have some kind of lives for the family, right? Because they came all this way. There's bad actors too, hell yeah. But anyway, from outside of that perspective, it doesn't really matter. It does throw off jobless claims and I believe unemployment data. I think unemployment at 4.3% is really nothing, because we have all these illegal immigrants that are taking jobs from people that are here in the country that aren't willing to work as hard for very low pay. So, and again, they could be illegally hired, they could be legally hired. It just depends on the states you're in. But I do think that this is over 10 million people. There's massive impact that comes along with that. So I think it's skewing employment data, and that's what the bears have been jumping on, and I don't think it's going to help them at all. And again, we're at this point where it's like the money printer is going to go burr either way. It's going to do that if the Japanese yen starts to fall apart. It's going to do that if the bond market starts to fall apart. It's going to do that if banks start to fall apart. It's going to do that. It's going to do it. It's what we've done since 2008. We set a new pattern that said, going forward, especially now, we're so indebted right now, there is no backwards button. I'm going to show you a slide in here that talks to that. But we're past the event horizon. If this was a black hole in front of us, we're there for the ride, unless a miracle happens. And that miracle could be artificial intelligence, robotics, and autonomy coming from places like Tesla, and us embracing Bitcoin as a store of value for a treasury asset for the United States government, where we can enrich our country while we print money away. I've been saying this for like 4 fucking years, and I don't even know if people understand this now. But if the Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy approach to getting rich, and they're the most successful stock in the entire fucking markets, right? Okay, the most successful one. His approach is simply the government has to print a bunch of money, so we should acquire a bunch of Bitcoin. I don't understand why people don't fucking get that it's important that our government be pro Bitcoin and say that they're going to do that. There's only 2 people doing that. It's not Kamala Harris. So, and the one that stands the best chance of winning is Donald Trump. And he talked about creating a Bitcoin and crypto council. If these things happen, it's going to fucking explode. And I can tell you, watch my political stuff. I might do one tomorrow morning. I might do like a market recap tomorrow morning too. Sorry. Just to give an update, it looks like we're down 3% on Cleanspark. Not much for a delay in earnings report. So I don't think, not too many shareholders seem to think that something smells bad here. We'll see if that happens tomorrow. But a lot of people that are willing to wait. All right, so let's move on here. So again, jobless data, not so big of a deal. Cross-Border Capital says, and this is my buddy Michael Howell. This is one of the most brilliant people in global liquidity. Yeah, I mean, he is. He's like the de facto standard, okay? If the U.S. economy really is heading for a recession, why are Treasury term premia breaking out higher? Surely this should be collapsing. He's right. That's what should be happening, and it's not. So that's signal, and from one of the most brilliant people in liquidity. Raoul Powell. Tom said, I agree with this. Let's listen to it and see what he says. Let's look real quickly, too. Oh, I hate this button. I hate it when it moves shit on me. It ain't cool, bro. Let me see if I can just click into this one. There we go. He says, is there a bull run coming soon? Microspasms like in 2016 are setting the stage today. With currency volatility, we're poised for a liquidity injection and potential huge bull run. I 100% agree with this. Let's listen to him talk about it, though. Let's see what he has to say.
Now
And Raul is not always right, and he's overly optimistic, and I'm that way sometimes too. But he's smart, and we're going to listen to him.
Macrospasms are not uncommon. You tend to get one every business cycle, particularly
What is the fucking music?
around regime changes. But actually the most similar was 2016. Early 2016, the dollar had been so strong, it
Is somebody playing a fucking video game?
pressurized global commodity markets. The Chinese were under huge pressure with their economy, as were the Europeans, and we needed to do something. Yet again, the Japanese started the ball rolling by starting to intervene in the currency markets. That pushed down the dollar, and a big
All right, I can't watch it because of the music. It's driving me fucking nuts. But I do agree with him. And if you want to watch it on your own, I just retweeted it, okay? I just can't fucking do that. That's like, I'm not playing a 16-bit video game right now. All right. Oh, that's old. I just told you the Bank of Japan was going to be okay. Let me see here. This is the one from Tom Lee. Let me see if there's any others that really intrigue me. I don't think so. Yeah, there's a few. I hate the way they do this in X. So the 19-hour thing is there was something that was days old. This was Banana 3, my buddy. I love this guy. He's one of the real, you know, like real knows real, and he's very much that guy. He was just pointing out yesterday, Fear and Greed Index, Extreme Fear, NAMO, the NASDAQ McClellan Oscillator. I talked about oscillations and how these things are supposed to happen. He said weekly chart showing the last 2 years of probability area for a snapback. QQQ, seasonal chart lining up with the 1st of August. QQQ, zoomed out chart showing MACD at lowest levels. These are all so good. This is such a great culmination of indicators that he's using, and he does a great job with this. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, it's Banana 3 Stocks. He's a great dude. He speaks the truth, and yeah, you should follow him. That way you know what's coming up. And plus, if I'm taking a vacation, you got somebody to listen to who's pretty brilliant with macro. Namastad. Thanks, dude, for joining. I appreciate everybody that joins. You guys are great. Marty Party said, Bank of Japan starts with the printer. Okay, that's old. Old. Okay, so I think we're done with this. We're done with this. We're done with all this. And I don't know if you saw this from the other day, but Dell did sack 12,500 people starting tomorrow. This is on August 6th. So again, we'll see what kind of other layoffs we're seeing. I monitor layoffs across the tech sector and numerous other sectors. I'm not seeing anything scary, and I'm seeing real estate kicking up. All right, let me look. I'm going to try and get caught up with chat. While we're doing that, we're just going to take a look. I'm going to jump into Tesla in a second, but I want to look at some other stuff. Let me get in here. Oh, that's me. Nobody needs to look at that guy. Let me go back. I'm going to see if there's anything else I wanted to show you here. I think the bond auctions were all pretty decent. Again, the move index was down. That tells us all we need to know. Wholesale inventories. That's one I hadn't looked at. Let me take a look. So no crazy signal here. The inventory is just kind of hanging out. So that's good. No build up, nothing crazy. Hey, for the 444 people that are here, can you hit the like button? It helps me out immensely. And I work really hard for the people that are here, in case you haven't noticed. So if you guys could do that, if everybody could hit the like, it takes but a moment. I'll even skip ads right now just so you guys can hit the like. Anyway, let's keep going. So CME, how are we doing on the CME Fed Watch tool? What are we looking at for rate cuts? Are we down to 1 yet? I've been predicting 1. Are we getting closer? We are getting closer, right? Let's just refresh and make sure. But it looks like we're not 50-50 yet, but it looks like we're 56% chance of getting 2. I could see that going down in the future, just so you know. CNN Fear and Greed Index, we ended up hitting the day with 24. Is that right? Holy shit. I made $300,000 today, and we're still in extreme fear. If you had a good day, be happy. Alexandra Denovan, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Alexander, did I say der? Okay. All right. Let me see here. Let's look at the crypto fear and greed index. But I love that for the stock market. I love it a lot. All right. So, fear and greed is 20. It's lower. No fucking way. Let me refresh. It's got to be old. No, it is. Oh my God. We're going to make so much money. We're going to make so much money. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. Let me look over here. I want to see, how did we do? Okay, so XRP pulled back. Again, they had that great news about it not being a security. Lawsuit settled, like 150 million, whatever it was. It's like fucking chicken feed. This is crazy. This is doing good. This is just the last hour. The day, you can see how it's had mixed results. SUI, Helium, there's a few that are up. So it looks like the shit coins aren't really taking it, but we kind of saw that anyway, right? If we look back over here, oh no, I'm sorry, right here, we can see that Bitcoin just dwarfed everything. And if I go to the BTC dominance, I mean, look at this, 8%. Look at these others. Well, I guess they did all right. They caught up. This must not have refreshed in the other screen. Let me look. I want to see something else real quick, and then I'll get back to you guys super fast. I want to see BTC dominance. I need to find my BLX. Do I have my BLX chart? Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay. I don't know if you've all seen this. This is my baby. I created this a long time ago, and I haven't done anything with it in like, well, I don't know, like a year or two. A long time. This goes back, as you can see, it goes back over very long periods of time to quantify kind of the mid-cycle of each having related event and rally, and then also just looking at different levels with trend-based fib extensions, and then looking at time frames both before, after the halving, and at the lows and at the peaks, to try and quantify a projection of where I think we'll land. And so normally, let me show you some stuff here. So normally what happens, and we can look here, you can see how we made it well past what should normally be the golden retracement zone of the .618. We got all the way up to the .786, and then we rejected. The next time we were a little bit lower than that. I actually think that pattern could be true, but here's the thing. I also think that it's possible that we hit the .786 again. Now, we didn't do it here, but this is because the Fed raised rates at the most aggressive rate in history. They did that right here. They neutered this and turned it into a double top and then sent us into the bear market prematurely. Not just with us, but the stock market too, right? Everything fucking rolled over. When you raise rates at the most aggressive rate in history and you smash liquidity, you neuter markets completely. So I would argue that we probably would have been over here in the 90s, maybe like 96, we would have been probably somewhere over here like we kind of did over here, right? Maybe just a little bit lower. So think about that. And now what I'm telling you is I don't think we're stopping at 102. That doesn't make any sense to me at all because we're doing the opposite thing of what we did over here, okay? We're not, let me just zoom in here. We're not doing neutered top anymore. Instead, we're doing accelerated top to go higher because we're opening up liquidity and printing like a mofo. So, I actually think if we get up here into this .786 territory, that's $170,000. And maybe we could even slightly break it. But I can tell you what, guys, if we get to like 149 or something, I'm probably out of most of my things. I'm not greedy. I have plenty of ways to make money. You guys know me who have been here a while. I always have a plan. So, but this is a chart I wanted to show you guys. I haven't pulled this up in so long. And then let's look at dominance too. I need to start getting out my Benjamin Cohen charts because he's kind of my nemesis. I won't say that because he's actually better than me in many ways. And he's been right about this, which literally is like my nemesis. And then I'm pointing out something that he's been more right about than I have been. Anyway, he's got his own analytics set up. I'm too lazy for that shit. I don't have a database. Not fucking doing it either. Anyway, so if we look at the weekly here, we will... He kind of has been right, but here's the thing. Here's what we have to do, and I'm real quickly going to do this. We actually almost have to get this down to the daily because I don't want to use like what was a wick on the weekly time frame. I want to actually get this closer to where it belongs, which is at the top of that range. So I'm actually going to do this. Yeah, that's close. So what I think is happening right now is we're just starting to test a breakout with Bitcoin. And I've changed my thought process on this. So I used to think that it wasn't going to break out, but now I actually think that it is. I think we're doing it, and I think we could get like maybe to 58%, something like up over here before we start to hit like previous resistance volume again. Maybe even we get up to 60%, and then I think we roll over and start to grind down and maybe turn this previous downward trend line into support. But we will roll over. Maybe it just happens a little bit slower because everybody's so Bitcoin focused right now. That's my thesis. If you guys are happy to be here, again, please hit the like. I'll skip one more ad here for people that aren't paying for the service so that you can avoid some bullshit and not have to see Kamala Harris again. Unless you like that thing. That, and I didn't mean that thing. Well, whatever, you know. Total 3 market cap. I should actually look at that one too. We'll do that. We'll do that later. I need to play around with that chart anyway. On TradingView, as all minus BTC and ETH, you can plot total 3. Yeah, and then there's the total market cap too. I like looking at all of them. I just don't very much because I'm so lazy. Here's the crypto total market cap. And again, this doesn't look bad to me at all. It looks like we tried to get higher. We couldn't break the support on the first fib. We broke down. We're screaming higher. Really, the total market cap, though, since this includes all the shit coins, it's just underperforming. Bitcoin is the boss right now. And then things like Solana, which are just stupid, like I showed you earlier. All right, we're done with that stuff. Let's move on. We're going to get into some regular stocks here real quick. Then we'll go ahead and, or actually we'll do Tesla. We'll do our little Tesla segment. And then we'll get into regular stocks and moving on here. And, well, Bitcoin too, because we got to cover Bitcoin in its entirety with the news. Did I do that yet? I'm moving in so many directions. Did I do Bitcoin? I'm just going to go back. I want to do Bitcoin first. We're here. All right, that's what we're doing. All right. So this real quickly, I'm going to let this play out. And I'm actually going to put my headset on so I can not have to worry about mic reverb for you guys, so I can be a little more professional. I'm trying to do a better job at that. But again, MicroStrategy crushed everything. People were mocking this guy. I knew he was the future. I bought options in his shit. I didn't hold them long enough. But this is what our government needs to do.
And the price of Bitcoin brought out the usual assortment of naysayers. Although I got to tell you, that pool is shrinking, even with the slight pullback. Listen, so many of them have so much egg on their face. Still, they always come out, and they always seem to aim their anger at my next guest, who isn't just a fan, but he's an evangelist. And, well, he's put billions where his conviction is. I want to bring in now MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor. You know, Michael, I'm going to start calling you Last Laugh Saylor because you always seem to get the last laugh. Even with the pullback, you put out a chart that's really amazing. MicroStrategy.
Does that guy look like the happiest person on this entire earth? Hey, thank you, Todd, for joining. And again, guys, if you could smash the like, this is the biggest number I've had on here in a while. And I was taking a few months off, and I'm really going to dedicate myself to helping people with investing over the next 8 to 14 months. You guys are going to be right at the top of my priority list. So if you can help support me at the same time, it's appreciated.
Performing everything since you adopted it as a strategy. It's crushed everything. Look at the green arrow. It's crushed everything. So I know you feel vindicated, but there's more, right?
Look, Bitcoin is volatile, but volatility is a signal of high energy. You know, rivers, waterfalls, fires, and windstorms are volatile. They just contain energy that we can harness. And so this
I love Michael Saylor because I feel like I'm taking a trip with some shrooms or peyote, and I'm getting ready to find like some metaphorical Jesus. This guy is so thoughtful. It's insane. And if you go back through his history, his ability to see the future is nuts. CLSK rumor, merger, what people are saying across different sites. Whoa, we'll check that in a second. Let's finish this up. That's crazy.
digital.
But I love that. And here's the deal. I don't have options for them, so I don't have to worry about being really out of the money right now for my strikes. So if they're doing it, now would be the right time to do it. So we'll see what they say.
Asset is creating tens of billions of dollars of credit and liquidity at all times for everybody.
I need to give this warning, though. So if you did buy, if you bought like a huge amount of Cleanspark options, depending upon who's doing the acquiring, I think Cleanspark would be the acquirer. I would love that. But the one that gets acquired, if you're way out of the money and they don't pay that price, like well above that price, your strike, get the fuck out of your options right away when you figure that out. Because that's what happened with Matterport. The options I had were right at the strike, which means you don't make any money. And I told everybody, guys, literally while I was doing it, I said, get the fuck out of Matterport now if you have the calls that I have. And I got double my money on those when they expired worthless. Okay? And I told everybody about it so that they didn't get screwed either. So pay attention to this shit and what's happening with this merger. If somebody's buying them, which I highly doubt, then you need to worry about your options with Cleanspark and make sure that you're well over the strike price. If they're buying Cypher, let's say, for instance, and you don't have any options in Cypher, great. You're just going to benefit immensely. But if you do have options in Cypher, again, make sure that you're well past your strike. If you're not, you'll need to exit immediately. So that might be something that you will even want to start to think about now, okay? Again, hit the likes if you're here, guys. Let's listen to the rest of Michael Saylor. He is a brilliant genius, and I will recap what he says and try and summarize it.
Everywhere in the world, and it's attracting massive amounts of capital, and that's what's driving that superior performance. MicroStrategy is just levering the most powerful idea in the world right now.
Yeah, but when you decided to go down this route, we've had many conversations. It was really nuts. And even now, critics, I heard folks talking about it just in the last couple, days. Oh, it was supposed to be sort of when the world's gone to hell in a handbasket. It was supposed to be a safe haven, and it's not. What do you tell folks who still aren't convinced, in part because it's not a safe haven per se?
What I say is Bitcoin's the solution to everybody's problem. Investors are worried about regulation, taxes, torts, and antitrust. Economists are worried about the deficit and the debt. Individuals want to deal with inflation, and they're worried about opportunity. Companies can't compete with megacorps. Those who understand Bitcoin buy Bitcoin. Those who don't criticize Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, individuals can outrun the inflation, investors can beat the market, corporations can outgrow the competition, and countries can revitalize their economies.
Countries. That has to be us. Us. If you're in a country, you need to talk to the political people. You need to figure out how you can get this on your ballot, and you need to vote for the people that will make this happen. If you don't do that, you're destroying your economies, especially if you're as heavily indebted as China, the United States, and many other countries around the world. If we don't do this, we're fucking ourselves in this country. So again, people say, oh, you don't have to be political with Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't fucking care. No, Bitcoin doesn't fucking care. Bitcoin will be fine on its own, but I care about this country and I want it to survive. If you care about your country, vote for the people that are going to support this. Vote for the people that are going to enrich our nation while they print all of the wealth away. It's our fucking lifeboat. Don't be stupid.
And boost their currencies by tapping into digital capital.
I want to talk about what's next from Washington, D.C.'s vantage point, because one of the things I've always been afraid of is that D.C. at some point would push back, just like all these countries that are dependent on fiat currency. And so you've got President Trump, former President Trump, who's obviously a supporter. Also, Senator Lummis, she introduced a proposal for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Explain to us what it means and why it would be so important for our nation.
All great empires are built on productive property that you can defend. And the Lummis bill is our Louisiana moment. You know, there was a time when everybody moved to the New World, and buying the New World, like Louisiana or Alaska, was a good idea. What we have right now is a race to own cyberspace. The future is digital. Bitcoin is digital. If you're worried about the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency, right, what are people going to buy when they sell the dollar? They're going to buy Bitcoin. And so you should go buy the Bitcoin and wait, because hundreds of trillions of dollars of capital from all around the world are going to flow into cyberspace to the Bitcoin network.
On the other side, you've got Senator Warren, who I just read is building an army to take down Bitcoin. If Kamala Harris wins, it looks like this time around D.C. will go to war.
All right, real quickly, just to answer some questions, because a lot of people have questions about Cleanspark, especially with the delay. And then I'm going to get back to Saylor and I'll summarize. I'm trying to multitask here. But why would Cleanspark, Sela said, why would Cleanspark buy another company? Is it getting mining capacity quickly? It's probably buying or buying a company where it can use its location for its hashing. They might be buying equipment too. There's a lot of private miners that are out there that have equipment, some of it very new, but they've mismanaged their allocations and they can't survive. They can't raise capital in the same way that these publicly traded miners can. They can't get liquidity. They can't get the rates they want when they're trying to issue debt. And so, but these publicly traded companies, people are like, oh, hey, nobody seems to give a shit. They issue a bunch more shares and people just buy the fucking stock and it's still a low cap. And if they can do some of the numbers we're talking about, whoa, it could get interesting. So they're most likely just trying to require to increase hash. Maybe that mining equipment comes with it. Maybe it's just a gut where it's got the power that they need for all the stuff they've already ordered, and they've ordered a lot. Their growth is not done by any means. I might do a separate video just really focusing on Cleanspark because I think it's very important for people to understand. I'm going to really start to get in the miner world too. I might try and spend some time with Sebastian Ski and maybe a few others that don't annoy me and that are really like brilliant and know what they're doing. Maybe James will give me a minute too, and we can have some conversations with some of these other people that I really like. But yeah, so I think that's kind of the likely path for what Cleanspark's going to do. And it's good. If it's that, it's good. We want to see them growing fast.
Have you had a chance to speak to anyone in her camp?
You know, I've spoken to people on both sides of the aisle, and I think that the more progressive politicians realize that there's a digital transformation in finance. BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, and Fidelity are illustrating it with their actions. Crypto and Bitcoin is going to drive outcomes in November, and you see people on both sides of the aisle that get it. And on Main Street, companies need this kind of digital capital if they're going to compete in a modern digital era.
Well, again, last laugh, Saylor, and it's just...
Yeah, he's trying to play the middle of the road with just the politics of it. But I mean, I did that too, right? I did that for years, but I don't have a prominent position that he has, and I don't give a shit. I will just say it. Democrats suck right now when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm going to skip ads again here, guys, just so you don't have to deal with the bullshit. Democrats suck right now when it comes to Bitcoin. They haven't agreed to do anything. They didn't show up for the Bitcoin conference. I don't know. After listening to Kamala Harris talk about cloud computing, I can't imagine what she even thinks Bitcoin is. So, again, support the people that are supporting us, especially if it means saving the financial empire of the fucking world. There's a reason we're the world reserve currency. Save us. If you want to have a good life and you don't want the West to completely fall apart, save our fucking money with Bitcoin. Oh, it annoys me when people don't understand that or care to even try and find out. It just really fucking bothers me. Bitcoin Monger, he's showing a heat map of just kind of how the crypto market's doing. And he said, we saw negative funding rates across the board in July. We ran it back to the 70K. Another short squeeze is loading. And I agree with him. I won't go into all the technicals of what that means, but he's right. And he watches this stuff way more than I do. I used to pay a lot of attention to it, but I'm lazy. But yeah, he said whales on Binance defending 60K with about half of the sell wall of yesterday. They used the dip yesterday to fill bids. Once they're done playing their games, the run back to 70 will be swift. I think we're actually probably headed there, but I do hope that we fall. I really do. Cleanspark is only down 2.6%. I still want to get in. That's just not that good. It was still better earlier today when I was thinking about getting in. Anyway, and again, I'm in. I've got like over 200 and something thousand in Cleanspark stock, but I want to convert some of that, like at least 10, 15% into options that can give me 3x the multiple. And so if we can get another drawdown, that's what I'm shooting for. Micro to macro, that's me. This is a great way to understand the value of Bitcoin that Bitcoin holds. And it says, it's Max Kaiser. He's absolutely insane, but in the most beautiful of ways. He posted this from Nayib Bukele, from the president of El Salvador. And it just says the devaluation of four major assets versus Bitcoin power law, which you'll see a few different people talking about all the time. But it basically shows how everything is losing value, whether it be gold, oil, the S&P, or your square footage value of your home. It's all losing value to Bitcoin. I pressed the like button twice just for you. Thanks, dude. Merger, bullish or bearish? It would be bullish, Disease. It would totally be bullish if we had a merger with Cleanspark. Make sure you smash the like button. Yes, Alexander, thank you. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate your answers. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. I said, yep, it is really that simple during the cycle. It only at the end do you really need to be focused. This is all these indicators. I've got like 20 different fucking indicators that tell you when you're at the end of the bull market. We will be hyper focused into those, along with people probably like Marty Party, James from Invest Answers, just a bunch of people that are really great. Benjamin Cohen, just the people I super admire and I listen to when I'm too lazy to do it myself. There's so many different ways, and we'll be hyper focused on those at the end because I don't want people to miss their ride, especially if this is your first one. I hate, and you'll probably, a bunch of you will still do it, but I hate watching people make a bunch of money, then they start spending money, and then they lose it all because they didn't fucking take profits. So I'm going to be very adamant about that and trying to provide opportunities for you to invest in other things that will benefit you in the future as well. And I'll tell you what I believe holds value at that time. And I'll do it honestly. I get nothing from this, guys. You give me $2. Some people give me 20, and thank you for that. That supports this all very much. And it just makes me feel good knowing that there's a little bit of money coming in and that my time holds value to people. And so I'm not going to be charging a bunch more money. I lowered my fucking rates down to $2, and it wasn't so I could get more subscribers. I don't give a shit about that. I want to help people. I'm going to try and fine tune that along the way. I don't want our group to get too crazy, at least in regard to the investment, like, timely things, because that could get weird. But what we said in here, Bitcoin, when everybody fears markets are 95% psychology. So essentially like what we were seeing earlier in some of those other charts, like from Marty Party, where it just screamed that we were going higher. Now, this says, this just says how bullish this is. I kind of talked to that. We'll skip it. Projections for Cleanspark in the future look good, but who knows with this announcement, like, who knows what's going on. Also, this is from Preston Syke. I don't remember what his last name is. Whatever. He's great. He's brilliant. I think I met him at a conference. I don't know. For the first time in 48 years, he said 10-year UST yields rose in response to a year-over-year decline in world USD, US dollar liquidity. It's a lot of words. I'll explain in a second. Which are, in our view, was warning that the U.S. debt to GDP and deficit to GDP and NIIP to GDP are so that the U.S. policymakers cannot over-tighten USD liquidity without triggering a U.S. debt spiral. So this is, like I said, this is the, holy shit, we just broke 510. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I don't know that I've done this in a while, especially without an earnings call happening right now. Thank you. If you could hit the like while you're here, it's huge. But so this is what I talked about a little bit earlier. We're past the event horizon. We're getting sucked into the black hole, and the only thing that can save you, the only thing that can truly save you is Bitcoin or a stock investment or some other type of investment that can grow in value exponentially. It's going to be like a Tesla or something like that. It's going to be something that's scarce or has just a future mass growth rate. So it's going to be interesting. There's always going to be hedges, but again, they can't not print. They can't not print. They have to print. This isn't like 1979, 80 over here. This is much worse. You need to understand that. It's going to be core to your financial future. Now, there's a little bit of news. I don't know if you guys heard this. This guy, Vladimir Putin, somebody who I'm not super fond of. Whatever. I mean, everybody's going to be on this network. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. Is going in on Bitcoin. They signed a law that legalizes Bitcoin and crypto mining in Russia. So they realize that they need to start taking some of that cheap energy that they haven't fucking been using, and they need to start making some money from it because sanctions have hurt them. Again, I shit on both sides of the aisle all the time. Right now, I believe Trump has to be elected because we'll be destroyed if the other party gets in. But I will say this. I actually think that the pressure that was applied on Putin was powerful and a lot more than people on the right want to give Biden credit for. And I get it, right? I get it. You've got ideological differences and you hate him, and so you very much side with your side and you believe things that you believe. But I think we've caused a lot of pain to Russia. They've had to lean in hard with China. But here's what I get excited about. There's been a stalemate for over a year and not quite a year and a half, but maybe like 14 months, where nobody's gaining ground, and it's just a meat grinder with a bunch of fucking people on both sides that don't want to be there, but their politicians are making them do it. And Putin's got to save face for this war to come to an end. Otherwise, he'll just keep going until he's overthrown, if he is. So it's either going to keep being a meat grinder. Sorry, this is a little bit political, but I think it's important. Or we find an end to the war. Well, I think Biden did a good job managing this and keeping Russia back. But now I think Trump and his buddy, whether Putin has a piss tape or not, I don't know. But here's the thing. If he can work out an agreement and force the hand of Zelensky, which Zelensky has already had conversations with Trump as if he's the president of the United States, because he realizes he needs to get that shit in order and figure out a game plan right now. So what happens if Trump gets elected and he helps end the war in Ukraine and Russia? First off, I don't think that would make China happy, but it would, because it would weaken their position and their grip over Russia, and it might fracture some of this relationship, while at the same time ending a massive amount of printing that we're doing over in Europe that isn't benefiting anyone right now, outside of all the pain and suffering that was created for Russia that put them in a place where they probably wanted to play nice. So anyway, that's a lot. But I think that is fascinating that he's doing this. I think it's a smart move for Russia to do this, and I think every other country in the world is going to start doing this stuff, guys. They all realize that this is going to be a reserve. Now, this is a beautiful chart here. Let's do this one. All right, Black Swan 2024, Black Swan 2020. So look at this. Look at this. This is the COVID crash. And they're not quite the same scale of depth. The COVID crash was super, super deep. But again, from a VIX standpoint, the volatility index for the stock market, it was actually like COVID. The only times that it was as bad were COVID, the big pandemic drop, in 2008 in the last 35 years. So we are kind of like this, actually, and look at the next path for it. And everything tells us that this is what's coming next. And you should expect it. You should. My buddy Caleb, he said, He said basically the Ichimoku cloud, sorry, it's a Japanese term, is it, like basically we haven't fallen underneath of it, and it's acted as support in the future. And then once you did fall underneath of it, then you knew that basically the bull market was over, right? So it hasn't done that yet, and that's a positive thing. And again, another indicator that lets us know when we've topped. How cool is that? How cool is it that we have so many that can give us warning signs and let us know ahead of time to get the fuck out of the market? Bitcoin Munger. In some undisclosed location, Trace Mayer, awesome, is likely yelling from the rooftops how criminally undervalued Bitcoin is right now. And what does he have? Oh, the Mayer multiple. That makes sense. I get the joke now. You can see where he's saying like, hey, this is 100% a buy zone. We haven't even come fucking close to the last peak signal. That was right. It was a little premature, but it was right. It would have been a good spot to get out of 48.50, right around there. Especially on the second tip, right over here. This was the indicator to get out. This would have been a great one for the last cycle. There were a number of them that were flashing, but look at this. So not even close to getting above that line. And if it just got over even here and you're at 150, call it. Get the fuck out. Another indicator. Samson Mao says $1 million Bitcoin in the next year is so far more likely now. Samson Mao is kind of an important guy. He's been in this industry for a very long time. BlackRock. I put, this is a little bit older, but I'll just cover it real quick. So this is from Sunny Decree. I love him. You should follow him. He's German. I don't even know if he does his English YouTube channel anymore, but he was just showing the supply held by entities with a balance between 100 and 1,000 Bitcoin is exploding exponentially. Part of that's ETFs, but it's very interesting data. Tesla. And thank you to everybody that's joined. Rahul, Alexander. Hopefully I'm not butchering your names, man. I'm so bad with that stuff. I'm a high school dropout, in case you guys didn't know. I didn't like school, so I only went to it for a year and a half. They told me I was dumb. I got, in 8th grade, I had 3 Fs, 2 D minuses, and a D plus. Not my finest hour. What is that shit? Wow, it's probably some liberal. Again, I don't hate liberals. I am one for the most part, but they just get so fucking amazingly psychotic lately. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's like militant. It's very strange. All right, so Tesla. Let me get back over here. And not all of them, just some of them. CNN is dying. The world is healing. So here's the deal. When I talk about Tesla, I talk about Elon Musk. They're one and one. They're the same thing. I talk about everything that he participates in because his wins and losses, people judge within Tesla, the only publicly traded account that they can deal with. So I just wanted to show here, and I don't even need to pull it up. The image is good enough. You can see the death that is happening. It says CNN effectively worthless after parent Warner Brothers takes 9.1. Legacy media is falling apart. And I got more to say about that in a second. So, it's the son of the walkie, my bro. He says, breaking the first time ever, more than 50% of cars sold in China were electric. Somebody else let him know, but I also reiterated that China has shitty data. They hide 95% of their economic data since the pandemic. They're sketchy as fuck. They're a communist dictatorship that imprisons Muslims, chops them up into pieces for body parts on demand. So China's the only place where like you could be like, I need a heart on Tuesday. Roughly for like this age, man, like give me something good and the right genetic profile, and you can get it. How do they do that, you ask? Think about it. So that's how they treat Muslims in China. But Muslims don't give a shit about that. Sorry, I'm getting super political. Why don't they care? Because they like the money that comes from China. Anyway, so looks like Elon Musk helped them. He said, help them go fuck themselves. This is my joke. The Global Alliance, it's actually the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, GARM, and the World Federation of Advertisers, like an incorporation of them. The lawsuit from Rumble and X, they had to fold. They literally are closing down these organizations so that they can't monopolize the advertising market anymore for X. So you're getting ready to see X become more powerful and wealthy in the future. This is crazy, guys. The tide is turning in such a major way. Democrats don't understand it, but it is coming. Thank you for the $2, Diego. I appreciate you, brother. Let me give you a little light there. Oh, there you go. You got my face with the heart. But yeah, so massive victory for X today. Already did this one. Linda Yacarino said no small group should be able to monopolize what gets monetized. Again, just talking about these guys they were suing. Doesn't matter now. In 8 years, there will be more EV charging stations than gas stations. Just talking about the growth that's required. This says U.S. public EV chargers set to surpass gas stations in 8 years. It'll be way before that. Yeah, it'll be way before that. And oh, this is my favorite right here, guys. Elon Musk posts that X. So on a day when they just wiped out the people that were holding back their ability to be able to increase their revenue substantially. On a day they've wiped out the two organizations that pertain to that, and it took less than a week of a lawsuit. X is the number one app in the App Store for all of these countries. All of them. I think it's like 139 countries. And this is a year after, a little bit over a year and a half, I guess. Let's just say, we'll say that. From Elon, is it that long? Or maybe it's less. Whatever. Of him firing 70% of the employees for this company. And everybody telling him he was going to fail. And what did he fucking do? He has turned into what will be one of the biggest advertising monoliths on the fucking planet. On the all-in-one app that everybody wants to use. This is the man you're betting against. If you're betting against him, you are a biased fucking idiot. All right, Doge Designer. X is the number one news app in the US, leading both the free and grossing categories of the App Store. Tesla has no need for any of these because they've engineered them away with simplicity. We don't need to talk about the UAW president. Oh, it's kind of funny, though. UAW president Sean Fain is under investigation by a federal corruption watchdog for embezzlement and fraud. Fain also forged a very close relationship with the Biden administration. Oh my God, I can't wait to see how this works later on. A court-appointed monitor was tasked with monitoring issues of fraud, misconduct, and corruption in the union as a part of 2021 consent decree that ended a federal corruption probe that convicted 11 senior UAW officials, including 2 former presidents. This guy, I'm sure he's in fucking trouble, and I love it. Anyway, that's it for Tesla. We did a lot of the big stuff, guys, and I'm not going to go into the politics. We're going to skip that part. We already did this economic data. We're going to skip that part. We looked at the CME. We looked at a bunch of heat things. We did a bunch of things, okay? So now we're going to roll over real quickly into some stocks, and then we're going to start looking at your guys' stocks. Dr. Chris, thank you for joining, my friend. Let's look at PayPal, my baby. All right, so from a technical perspective, and this is what I do, guys. I give you macro and I give you down to the micro, and I answer questions that you have in regard to companies about their financial statements and whether or not I believe that they're undervalued or overvalued, and then I explain the technical aspects of whether they're likely to break out or go down. This is what I fucking do. PayPal, up 2.45%, 0.05% in after hours. It is at the breakout zone. I will probably just adjust this a hair. Diego, thanks, dude. I'll read that in a second here. I'm gonna really make this the breakout zone. We're gonna get to the breakiest of the breakouts. We're gonna do this now, and we're going to hit that lock button. So this is what we really want. I want to see 67. We see $67 and can hang on to that for more than 24 hours, or I should say 48 hours. I'm stoked. Diego, what are your thoughts on Poet, wafer chip patent options? I don't know about the details of what's going on with Poet, but here's what I can do for you. I can look at the financials of the company, and I can tell you what the technicals look like, bro. Hey, Jesse, question I asked in the past, but you got sidetracked. I would never do that. I am so focused, Kane. I resent that. No, I'm kidding. Well, what's your opinion on Jay Powell as a Fed chairman compared to others? Do you think he does a relatively good job? I think he's actually doing fine. So here's what I don't like about Poet. Here's what I don't like. Look at this. So they're bleeding $6 million a quarter, or $5.6 million a quarter. They have no revenue really to speak of since Q4 of 2020, and I don't even know what it was for then. So without without that fundamental knowledge that you say you have, I can't recommend this as a buy to anybody. It doesn't have a lot of short interest, but I just don't know. Their forecasting doesn't even show revenue. So all they can do for now is just dilute shareholders and burn cash. And so to me, this looks like a pain train. But if you see this getting better, if you see this not looking like complete and utter shit, and you don't see all their cash going away and the company going bankrupt, if you don't see that, then I'm interested. So if you see that maybe we're starting to trend up here, if you see the actual revenues, if you see cash flow that isn't negative, if you see a cash position that's starting to grow, but they're not diluting shares, I'm interested. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. And thank you for the $2, now $4 in tips. I hope you didn't hate my answer, but that's it. Dr. Chris, great to be here. I'm happy to have you, bro. Cheers. Kane, hey, Jesse, question I asked in the past. Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah, no, I think he's doing good. UA Knight, can you do a hood, please? Heck yeah. Let's get to the hoodie of the hood. Actually, the next one of my buttons. So we went all the way down to the previous resistance level that you could see like really trends all the way out to support in March of 2022. Instead of being resistance like it was in November of 2022 or July of 2023 or January of 2024, it was a perfect level of support. And the people that bought that and watched it raise not just one fib, but two fibs to find support, I think are going to be greatly rewarded. I love the gap that I'm seeing in here and the price action that wants to close. So you got an easy trip to 20, pretty much, sub 20, in my opinion. And honestly, I think I'm going to say what I said before. See, look at this. You're not going to have a head and shoulder here, guys, because you dipped way too low, right? So you've totally killed the head and shoulder concept. And then with a really strong velocity, you've pushed yourself higher. I think a minimum of what we'll see in the next couple of months for these guys is probably like a 72% increase. I have not paid much attention to options. I should probably look at that. Let me just do that real quick. What's the options chain look like for this bitch? And again, options are super fucking dangerous. Watch my Options 101 video so you can know how much you might be willing to risk. It is something where you're adding time as an element into your opportunity. I like at least a 3x multiplier on my potential returns. I'm picking June 2025 because I believe roughly around that time, maybe a little bit later, that the Bitcoin cycle will be over. I do want to figure out before I pick that option, and I talk about this in my Options 101 video in detail, explaining extrinsic and intrinsic value, that you want to go into a site like NASDAQ options, just Google NASDAQ options, punch in your stock symbol, and you want to look over here at the options chain. And the reason you want to look at this is we know roughly the time frame, if I'm right, is around June of 2025 for what we want to look at and play with. But what we need to know is what kind of open interest exists around that time. So we're going to select June 2025 out of this list. We're going to change the moneyness to all monies. And then in the process of doing that, oh, thanks, dude. One sec. And then in the process of doing that, we're looking at open interest. That's the thing we're paying to. And volume. Volume's kind of my secondary indicator. But I want to know what is the open interest. So I like the 30. There's a lot of volume there right now. And it looks like the hood contract today for the 32, which also has a decent chunk of volume, that might not be bad either, is also, it went down. So let's just look here. So even though Hood has had this massive breakout, I don't know how much that's actually ran. DLO looked really good today. I need to look at that one. I'll look at that too here in a second. But yeah, so let's look real quickly. So Hood had a blowout quarter, stupid in every fucking way, all the best ways possible, right? What was I doing? What did I say I was doing? I'm in here. I was looking at this. Talking about going higher. Talking about going. Oh, my option. 72%. So let's go over here and find it. So we know that the 30-32s are what we're the most interested in. I'm going to go 32. I'm going to go 32. I want to be a little more out of the money. I think 32 is an easy close because right now we're trading at 17. And I just told you that I think in the next couple of months, this thing can go up 70+%. So that we're almost to target already, and we have till June of 2025. So that would be great if that happens by October. And if it doesn't happen by October, you still have some time. So let's look here and try and apply some real math to it. Like if I was really playing with some money, it looks like I got to do maybe, let's do 300 contracts. I want to make it something that I care about, like some number I care about. Maybe I'll do here. I'd probably, honestly, if I did it, I was going to allocate more to it. These might not match your numbers, but it'll give you an idea what I'm looking at. So I'd probably do like at least 500. Let's do that. And then I need to look back over here. What was I thinking for the targets? Short term 30, but I think it's easy for this to hit the next fib, which is going to be close to the other levels. So between 77 and 85, I think is a very, to me, a conservative bet for this cycle, the next year or so, 8 to 14 months roughly, for us to be able to hit this target. So I'm just going to put like, let's put 75. I think that's close to what I was looking at. No, it's in the 80s actually. Let me go back and do that. I'll do like 84 because that's like the max level of the previous high. Now, there's been stock dilution, but this company has gotten so much better. So American Fear, thank you for joining, dude. Diego, geez, you are generous, my friend. Another $9.99. How to become a member? $10 million contract, Foxconn. You want me to? That they got a contract with them, but see, they need to start actually producing. That's the thing that always worries me, dude. Is a company to produce. Having a contract is the first step. You got to be able to produce. If you can't produce, then you're not making money. And even if you can you produce at the ability to be able to turn in a nice profit? These are so hard. This is so hard to do. So despite that, I still worry, bro. I still worry that that's something that's achievable. Now, let's look here and see what are we looking at for call options for Hood right now. Let's see. So I did my thing. What did I put in here for the total? This is me spending 61 grand for something that's going to expire in like 10 months. Okay. So let's see how good it is. So if we get to like some of those levels I was talking about, the $30 level, you'll be doing pretty good. You'd be up like 60, 70%. You're getting 320. That's actually a pretty good return. So if we accomplish that between like now and November, again, roughly that 3-4 months, you could make $180,000 off of 60. That's not bad. But if we start to really run between like now and April, May of next year, let's even say June, let's push it out. Because again, and you got to be up there, right, to make money. But if you're even between like 40, that's 720% off of 136. Fuck, I'm buying these options, dude. This should have been a members only video. I fucked this up. Anyway, I'm buying these options. But if we hit my high-end targets by like June, if we get near, and let's not even go that high. Let's say like 50, 60 dollars, right? Not a super crazy move, couple 100%. Let's even just say 200% move. That's 1,700%. So I can make $1.03 million off of 60K if we get, if Hood can go up 200% from where it's at right now. And, I think that's possible. This is actually beautiful. So the 32s, the 30 contracts, my options video shows you guys all how to do that. Hey, Kamlesh, thank you for joining, dude. It shows you how to do all this stuff. But I would definitely I'm looking at this. It looks like Cleanspark. If we get a good drop here, I hope to God we do. I'm going to probably start buying Hood options and also devote some to Cleanspark and get ready to have some fun. Wow, what Hood play is awesome, right? It's actually really beautiful. But again, you got to hit these numbers. But I think it's totally capable. I think what Robinhood's been doing is amazing. You should watch Amit's latest video. A few other people probably did it too. I'm probably going to call it right now. How early am I? See, I started 10 minutes early, so I've been doing this for about an hour and a half. We don't have an earnings call. I want to spend some time with my family. Tomorrow, I will not be around for a market recap, but I am going to do a session in the morning. I might focus on some Bitcoin mining and stuff like that, or whatever might come up between now and then. So tomorrow morning I'll be doing something, but then I'm checking out for the weekend. We're going to a cabin. It's beautiful. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to spend time with the people I love. And I encourage you guys to do the same. And otherwise, I will see you a little bit later here tomorrow morning, maybe around like 7 or 8. And in the meantime, guys, just remember, Bitcoin is not going to zero, and we are going to see an all-time high very, very soon, I believe. I love you guys. Thank you for everybody that joined. Please comment after the video. Throw some chats in here real quick. I'm going to skip ads to give you some time to listen to some music. But please support me in whatever way you can. Let's get the message out there and really start crushing shit. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto.
Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay?
It's over.
Go fuck yourself.